Somebody. Alright.
What raises
It's in the employee profile.
that's another that's individual employee.
Yeah.
You can put it at the moment with the individual employee, it's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. But if you want to put one spreadsheet for all your employees, but leave it there, it's not, I was speaking more. In other words, be able to pull out of all the employees, complete spreadsheet. And that's why I said if we did it either in the training matrix or we did it in the live reports or in the training matrix. We might not go and list, sorry, we might not go and list, this is Joseph and these are the courses, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it's going to give it to be dates and correlate. So what you say, here's Joseph, and he's done 10 courses. Joseph, here's Peter Fact or whatever, left right. And it will be all like that. And we can do it like that. You want the individual names. How are you going to pull out the individual expiries related to that story?
I think I should be able to, should be able to report. It's just that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if you do it in one row, you're going to have a row, one column is going to have a whole lot of courses. Oh, you can put a name, one individual and put it underneath each other and put it next to each other.
Well, this also is just an example.
No, I'm sure that I'm no doubt it can.
Right.
I think that's what nice about these training sessions, the information that comes out of it. Once coming in, all the foolscap pages and all that.
Cool. Yeah. So you guys added employees already on the.
Yes.
Cool.
We all add some employees, guys, you must do it at least 4 or 5. Fictitious, just to get used to it so that you understand that.
Because if you do that, you can put that information into an Excel file and also upload it to the system. You should be able to mass upload.
Lunchtime, I'll speak to Mark and we'll come back to that.
Okay.
I've
So
got a funny feeling you can do it already in the training matrix, but that's why I started this one.
all right. Then just coming back here again, I just want to quickly show you how we can actually terminate an employee. I'll go edit. Scroll down. So terminate is basically kind of like removing somebody from the system, but not deleting them. Right. You'll see when I go terminate, it's going to give me a termination date, which is today. I'll go update. And I terminated the person who was Peter Kemp. When I go to terminated list, Peter Kemp.
It's very important to understand when you terminate or remove a guy from the system. His medical, for instance, at the moment, his medical will stay there and could be created. Okay? You need to keep his record. You can't just dump all his record. So what you are also going to do now is with the new system, with the version 2, is make your checklist, not your checklist, your registers are more interactive. In other words, what will then happen is when you terminate a guy, it's going to close him off on your first aid list, it's going to close him off on your training list, it's going to close him off everywhere that he needs to be closed. Right. So that is something that is bear in mind. So if you terminate an individual, he's no longer working for us, and he's been on all the registers, like he's a first aider, he will automatically then be removed from that particular. Okay.
Cool. Thanks. Then you'll see all of the other information as we populate it will be there. And now when we go to the the person, this person will jump right to here. In this, this person. Now, cool.
Companies.
Now, reporting employees. Reporting. Okay, we'll see now employee reporting. Okay, we have the person's name there, right? If they do have a username, meaning that if they can access the system, they can right? This guy here, James Turner, they report to John Jones. Okay. Then the C roles, which is this person's HSC roles.
In the system, I cannot do it easily. And you have this morning, the set
Then you'll see the champion for that department, which also this person will now report to the what? Right? Yeah. Did you keep me out? Please. So the make consent.
Yeah.
So in as well as a control user, you have you're the only person that has been back to again. All right, so now once we've created our employees, now we can jump back to linking those employees into users. Right. So let's now head again to organization workspace settings, then users. Okay. Then you'll see we'll have our table there. At the top there, we have the tallies in regards to how many of each user can we create, right? And then in a small number there, this is now the max that we can that we allowed to add of those type of users, right? And the larger number is how many we've created. Yeah. Then just below that is now the table of all of the users that we have there, right? With the names, surnames, usernames, email addresses, the types of users that they are, which is quite crucial. As you will see at the top there, on those big blocks there, it states that we have different types of users. We have a control user, which would be now sort of like the super user of the system, who configures everything on the system, like what we just did earlier on with the document setup, the drop downs overall, and operations in areas. Right. Then we also have standard user, and just bear in mind that control user is the only person who can also create users for people, right? Both employees and users. Right? And standard user would now be your supervisor, right? Then these would now be people who are working on site with other people on it, right? Then these, once your input users, these would now be your day-to-day workers, your shearers, right? People would now represent a group of people as they do the checklist and so forth. So these people would not be the people who would not input information onto the system, right, on a day-to-day. Okay. Then we have the read-onlys, read-only and read-only plus. Read-only is basically a person who just goes onto the system just to view all the documentation. Now, they can't actually edit or do anything on the system. They can just download completed documents.
And then you contact that is the share.
The real owner would basically be somebody, let's say,
No, but they also need that they I need to be part. I'm sure that it's compliant on time.
not necessarily what they would do from their side, they would just share their file with you. And on the share, yeah, but this is different now. This is you being a user and going onto the system as a user. What they would do on their side, for them, what they would do, so I'm trying to differentiate the two right now. But so this is just somebody who would go into the system, like maybe a managerial level, just to view everything from the study side. Maybe let's say the CEO just to check if everybody is doing everything properly. Then what you're referring to now is more related to a project. Okay. So once they've done a project and they want you to audit it, then they'll not share it to you as a reader. Okay. Cool. Then now let's quickly create. We'll see how we have an add button. Okay. And now we can add a user there. Then down here basically shows the names of the people and the roles that they have already. And who of them is working under the entire company or under specific operations. Okay, then we click on add user. You'll see now we can now start populating again the same information that we populated when creating employees. Right? You'll see we have basic information, contact information, notifications, my workspace, which wasn't there initially, right? PPE, license, and medicals. Right? But the nice thing is that once you've already created an employee, you can just come here at the top and just look up the employee's name, link, and now half of that information is now disappeared. Yeah. All you just need to do is just give them a username, password, then reconfirm that password. Okay, so I gave them the system default password, which is 1234. Right, and it also tells me that this person has now occupied that name. Right. Okay, if I need to add more notifications, I can do that, but I won't do. Right, HSC user type. Then you'll see on my side here, it only gives me a read only. So those are the only ones that I haven't reached the max of. Right. Then, sorry. Okay. Operational group. All areas. Then, yeah, operational area. You want them to see when they log into the system. You want them just to see information relative to a specific operation only, or do I want them to see the whole company? Yeah. Now we'll create. Then that person will then get now an email with the relevant link to the system, as well as the username and a password. Right. So they'll just click on the link, copy the username, and then put in the password. Then you can now gain access to the system. Right. Then if you need to, maybe at a later stage, you need to change the user type, you can just click on this row here where it says operations. Okay. Then click on that pen tool. You can either change the username if need be. Right. We'll say save changes for now. And if I need to edit more stuff, I can also edit the contact information and also change them from specific users to any sort of user that I'd like. So here I basically see control, standard input, read only, and so forth. Yeah. We'll just quickly open up one of the controls. So you can see. Right. So when I come here, I'll now select my person as a control user. Here, ask me, do I just want to make him a basic control user or a primer? Right. Prime basically means that you give him full access to anything on the system.
That's only on your contractor side, right? It's not.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
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 Is it to all contractors on your system, or is it specifically this one contract?
No, this is just one contract.
Okay.
But each time you go to, you log into a different contract.
And
it
then
will
on the
configure,
employees, okay.
right. So each contractor will have its own standalone system. Right. Cool. Then if also somebody forgets their password, you can also just click there where it says reset, and it's going to reset that person's password automatically.
Okay.
Which will also be sent via mail as well. Okay. Any questions in regards to employees tying into users? Cool. Right. So now we've created employees already. Let's just quickly now upload information. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to take you through straight down to registers, just so that we can upload the medicals, driver's licenses, training documents. So let's
Please,
just.
guys, when you do this, please, even if it's just one document, create the document, upload it so that you can.
All right, then just scroll down to registers. And you'll see under registers, there's different types of registers there. Right. Firstly, beginning with combined expiry register, which is now what I was showing you with the different color. It will be all of the documents that would now expire. It will state how long it would be before they expire, and it will give you alerts as well. Right. Then you also have electrical registers as well there, which includes stuff like your COC registers, hazardous electrical location, test and inspection of hazardous electrical locations. We also have emergency preparedness, which would be emergency drills, emergency teams, emergency lighting test, qualified first aid box area, as well as first aid box vehicle. If the first aid box needs to be restart with new stuff. Then employee, you'll see now we have auditors, right? We have equipment authorization, medical exam, training, as well as driver's license. So the three bottom ones are the most crucial ones. Right? So let's go first to medical exam, and we'll just add one document on there. And you can now go up top right. And let's just add. So you remember the person that you created, right? The employee that you created, just look them up. I'll add that. Yeah. Okay, operation, then medical exam date. We'll say this person did it sometime last year, September. right? And I'll choose the exam. Right. Right. Right.
We're all back in the internet.
Yeah. I'm sure he's going to start everything.
You are you also there?
No, so I'm going to start the video by joining your Wi-Fi. Because my Wi-Fi is about to die.
Yes. Are you going to need maybe a charging cable for that? Maybe just like that.
Indeed.
Cool. Right, then you'll see just here by the medical exam date column. You'll see just next to the date there's now a little edit tool. Okay, when I click on there, I can now either edit the medical exam date or I can upload the new document. Then if the whole document has been wrongly populated, I can just delete it and now re-upload the new one. Okay. Right?
After you,
You're asking something? Right?
Do you manually have to upload the date? So okay, it's now this day, this month,
If it's expired.
it's this one.
If it's expired, then what you're gonna do, it's actually gonna give you like a little red thing in there to let you know that it's gonna expire soon. Right. Then it's gonna ask you to now update that expiry. Then what you're gonna do when you update, it's gonna again ask you this again so that you can upload the new document as well as state when the medical exam was done.
so say you made a mistake, where did you get fix it?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
just click there. The little pen tool, then you can always just go to edit medical exam. Right. You find it. So you just come here.
Yeah. Tell you about that.
So if you need maybe let's say you have added the date, you know that this person went for a medical exam on this date, right? But they still haven't sent you email with the actual documentation. Then you can just put it on the register so long. So when they actually send you the document, then you can just come here and just add it. Sorry. Just probably just add it. Yeah. But quickly delete this. See what happens. Okay. So now I've deleted it, then there's no record at all. Good.
Yeah.
Cool. Then training records, I think that one we went through when we went through the employees. Right. So we still recall this one, right? So let's head to the last one, driver's license. Again,
I don't follow that as these details.
which one, sorry? Yeah, it's still linked either way. Still linked either way. Yeah.
Someone or clients that's going to manage the systems.
So rather have everything that pertains to
Everything
the
around the employee, his appointments, read reports, his duties, responsibilities, everything's around the employee.
Why do they use, why
Because the driver's license in the register, student
Okay. So Sean, what they're suggesting is that with registers, right? They're suggesting that it's better if all of the employee information is rather within the employee section and not in the registers. Because they're saying that
You're
now
still going to need the register at the end of the day, but why are you busy with that employee? When
But
you say,
if you take medical, doesn't that go into the employees? Does, and your training and your driver's license, all that goes into other employees as well.
yes, but there where you're loading, the big thing is yeah, you select the license type, or you select, for example, the B, that has a section there right next to it, upload the copy of drivers.
Okay, so that, what happens is when you load it, it loads it in employees, so you want to rather load an employee.
And then it filters here, because now if you load your employee, then you need to run through every single register and load every single employee once again. If you've got a breakdown where you spend a bit more time loading the employee and all of these details and information there, and then it just pulls through to your registers instead of having it pulled in your register and pulled back to your employee info.
Now, when make a note of that, Carla, there, because when we do the version 2, we can do that quite easily. I'm not going to change version 1 now. We had the cutting for the 30th of June.
Yeah.
So we're not going to change that now. But if it's necessary, I don't see why it would be a problem. It's just
Yeah.
So in other words, load all your details, but give them the option to do it either way. Because a lot of guys prefer doing it this way. So it's a matter of opinion. If you want to load it there, you load it there. If you load it there.
Yes.
So it can go either way.
Just as long as it populates all the.
That will. And as I said to you earlier on, our registers are not going to be manually uploaded registers. A lot of them are going to automatically populate, so that could be the thing. So when you load the guy's driver's license, his name go under his name to automatically. And that's what we do with all our registers, even the first aid. So you make a guy a first aider, then automatically his name will go into the register. So when you select his roles and you say he's a first aider, it will go into the register of the first aider, so his area and his responsibility for it. So that's basically, that's a request that somebody to let you know about that. But it's not happening in version 1. Version 2, we have to stop our time in version 1. We can't keep on working anywhere.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
So all I'm trying to say there is your registers will be interactive, if I can call it that. So if you load on an employee, or something you load on an employee has to go to register. The moment you just do.
Good.
When you do auditing, the registers are critical for auditing, guys. When the guy says, okay, can I see all your driver's licenses? Can I see all your vehicle licenses? Can I see your training records? That's when it plays a most important. The training record register is something that I brought in because I did my auditing for 18,000 when they came and audited me. That pulled me out of the lot. The minute you can produce a register with every single training course with it, they stop asking questions. It literally took them 3 minutes to do my audit on training. No, we've seen enough. Thank you. So this is what people don't realize with the registers like that. A lot of it allows you to get through an audit a lot easier. That's my own opinion. But they are essential, but as I say, populating of them needs to be more.
Cool. Yeah, so if we could just maybe load 1 or 2 driver's licenses.
So has anyone heard from Denise?
No, you phone,
Yeah, Jack.
Jack.
Phone Jack and ask if she's covered. What's happening?
Could you just add one as well? Create. You'll see now, because of the document uploaded there, we have this document. Okay. And just bear in mind that on the system, as a specific user, right, or as that user that you logged in as, you'll always see this next to your documents. You can either edit or delete. Right? So even if you're a control user or white label, if somebody from maybe input level does something on the system, you can't actually edit or delete things.
We've allowed the prime users, and we can allow prime users because some people might leave the company. We don't want people entering stuff and allowing other people to I'm only something. Delete something that was not, and then you can prime user, but then you can trace it back to
And if an employee leaves the company, can't just.
yes. So we allow the prime user to do it.
Okay.
If it doesn't happen on your side, you just let us know. It's, we try to keep that control quite substantially. That's why certain jobs, like I said to you now, the committed gender that is now only going to be that.
Look, well, that's good. Look, what another system that's out there, you as an employee, well, most of the safety officers that's been appointed as employees, can go and absolutely everything, from contractors.
Hmm.
They can basically wipe the entire system.
Yeah.
They can revoke every
It's
single
ridiculous.
person's
I mean, it's
access.
so dangerous.
Yeah.
I would never allow that. I mean, even with companies that have come to shop, but you want to see what guys, what happens if an individual knows stuff and now you want to discipline him and his stuff has been seen, now but somebody else can do it. I mean,
No,
you need control, and that's why we fought like hell to even avoid the control user, but then we realized we had to, otherwise it keep coming back.
but the big thing is as well is if, even if you've got a track record of which employee deleted what or whatever the case may be. If he deletes everything, you can't get that information back.
Luckily you can.
With
Luckily,
us, yes,
you come to us and we can bring anything back. But then we're gonna start charging for it.
because with the other guys, I'm sure all that information is on.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to go and know every single individual once a
This
day.
one's very dangerous. I don't know why.
And that's the,
But they don't also have that many users.
people leave the company and
They log in.
their access isn't remote. So I can still log into the system, so.
Jack says it's like the lady in hour.
Okay.
So she should be there in time now, but he's gonna follow the rules and take them.
Okay, great. Guys, you know, if you have seen, again, if you have seen the system in 2015 compared to now, it has grown. It's grown, and I mean, this last week, nobody talked this stuff. This week, stuff is coming in all the time. At some stage, I thought the system would stabilize. Everybody's ideas are all, and most of the ideas that come through are very good. There are certain cases like people come to me, I can't add this appointment in. I say, no. All right. If you want that rubbish appointment in, you must do it. People seem to think that safety is managed on a basis of. I've never, in all the years I've been an inspector and I was a deputy director in the department, I've never held people liable because of their letters of appointment. I often ask people, why do we have letters of appointment? Why do you think they do? And people, they don't know, they think it's liability. Liability is granted and addressed by a position held, not by appointments. But people responsible, the minute you're responsible for another individual, you carry liability. Not your appointment letter. The sole purpose of an appointment letter, even the Department of Labor have lost this understanding. Sole purpose was for you to have structure in your management of health and safety. That's the only reason. Now, if we go back to it and we say, does the Health and Safety Act tell us we must have a management system? No, it doesn't. In one word. But if you read the fact that you've got to prove that things are maintained, and you read the fact that appointments must be done, and then if you read under General Machine Regulation 211, where it says to you when you apply for an exemption, you must stipulate what management system you have. Then you can say, when you read the entire thing, you say, the intention was that there must be a structured management system. And contributing to that, establishment of that intention, is the fact that you must have appointments. When people start stressing and worrying about appointment, this guy's going to go to the toilet within an appointment. This is the type of thing I understand. Already we've got too many appointments. Then they want us to, a lot of appointments I haven't put in, like for timing, nobody's using this. One day they need it, we will create it. But there's a lot of people that, I need a guy to be a hand tool inspector, I need a guy to be a hammer inspector, I need a guy to be this. The system allows you to make an appointment and then you can stipulate what you must do. But you don't need to appoint a guy to carry out an electrical inspection. He must be competent and you tell him as part of your duties. No, but we must have it. It's the mentality of the people. Unfortunately.
Can I just check on your comments so far? I'm Sean. When would we go out for lunch?
We can break it 12, it's fine.
Okay, cool.
It's up to you.
Right.
How are we doing on time?
Be good. Yeah.
Because please, I really want you, don't say yes, I've done it. Make sure you do something. Just make sure you understand. And maybe you come up with better ideas or whatever. I'm going to look at the training matrix now on my system, Mark said it's activated on me so that I can see exactly what it does. I'll look at it now while you guys are on lunch.
Okay.
Cool.
I see you drinking because she threw the green, but yes. I said, yeah, I don't know
Welcome back. Cool. My name is Tapelo Balaran. Julio. Right. Cool. So earlier on, before the break, we had covered the whole setting up of the documents, drop downs, overall operation areas, as well as employee, and also how to attach employee documents to those relevant employees. Right? So what I'm going to quickly show you now is just the supports that we have. Right? Firstly, we have support online there, highlighted in green, which is pretty much the support tool that we use in regards to any issues that we find on the system. Then you'll see there, you'll state your problem, describe what the problem is in detail, then state your level of urgency, then the type of support that you need. If it's just general support, if it's health and safety related, if it's any technical issue, or related to your specific account. Cool. Which would then send us an email, as well as an email where we can respond back to us.
I bet everybody says they're extreme priority.
Yeah, mostly.
But we don't get many of those tickets anymore.
Really?
What's happening now is the Jiva check is being, the Jiva check is active every day, substantially. How do you do this? People don't want to read the online guides. They don't want to go to online. So we have a Jiva check is popular.
Quickly open it up. Right. So I'm gonna quickly refresh my page, and you'll see on
You're sharing
the
this
bottom of
that.
yeah. Thanks, man. Zoom share. Let's see. Zoom share. All right. So you'll see now. You see it inside.
No, on the.
You see it how sharing it. Yeah. Mm. All right. Then you'll see on my screen here. You'll see that chat with us, which now would be maintained by you guys on the side.
Now that chat will go to you. If you have a problem with it, you can tell us.
Okay.
So this is now a stand, sort of like an alternative stand-in for that support online.
Okay, I do see it here.
Yeah.
And there's agents online.
From our side, there is.
We
If you guys are white label, you guys are going to have to maintain your own support for your service.
Okay, so where do we log into?
The whole
Okay, so that we can answer
Yeah.
questions.
I think in regards to that, Mark will cover that
Okay.
when we cover the other stuff.
Okay.
I think maybe we can just keep a note of that.
Yeah.
That And then just above the highlighted green button there, you'll see we also have something called Online Guide, which is a user manual, a digital user manual that we have there. It's also going to require us to log in again. And you'll see now when you log in, this is what you'll see. Yeah. First page will have all of our updates, right? So updates would be basically all the new changes that we've done on the site, right? in a specific columns. Then you'll see there, let me just quickly open up one. It gives me a brief explanation there. Now go read more. Then it gives me a pop-up, as well as indications of what I would now need to do in step-by-step format. Yeah, you'll see there, this is what will now happen. And it explains just before that image comes. Right. And then when you close that, or rather click where it says I've read this update, it then removes the update from your list of updates here in your index page. Right. And you'll see on this side, basically everything that is related to that theme. Because if I go refresh, you'll see that the theme here is under project creation. So everything that is linked under project creation will now link me to this area, project monitor. And everything again on the side, the categories. So these would be now the types of things that you can do under project monitor. Yeah. So if I want to see how to create reminders, project reminders, then it will now show me there. But if I need to create unattended confirmations, so then also stipulate it. Right. Okay. Then at the top right, we have system, a button called system there, which gives us an overview of all of the online guide, which is basically the main index of the online guide. Yeah. You'll see this one here, the first one, first section, is the brief overview of what the online guide deals with or covers. Second section is for the control user. As you will see here, this is pretty much what we have done today. Configuration settings, user roles, users and roles, document setup, operations and areas, overall drop downs. Yeah. And then you'll see again, yeah, we also have where it says creating users, creating employees, notifications, which is pretty much what we covered. Activity manager, building checklists, which we haven't covered as yet today. Then section 3 is more what standard input users will now carry out. Stuff like your inspections, actioning NCRs, NCR status reports, top bar, and its notifications there, creating reminders, receiving tasks, and so forth. Right. Doing your risk assessment. So this part here explains all of the doing in the system. Right. When you scroll further down, you have again optional extras, which are now plugins. So you'll see that we have plugins like our InTouch, our contractor management, project monitor, then what you guys already have, Whitelab. Right. Then you also have mobile app, which covers now the whole process of how to do activities using the mobile app. From us downloading it to the whole setup of the app itself. The notification that it gives once you have to now upload certain completed documents. and then what activities you can actually do, like a checklist, reporting incidents, doing your inventories, having your risks there, and so forth. Right. So when you go up again, up top to where it says system, you'll see you have users, which basically breaks down the users you control down to read only, right? And what their capabilities are on the system. As you'll see here, it gives you even these as well. The sections, operations, and these core functionalities, which are now what we dealt with today with users and drop downs. Right. And you'll see here we have all these different names or user types. We have prime control / control. Then it also explains here what they do, as well as their capabilities, user capabilities, right? If I go to standard, you'll see the description changes, as well as the capabilities as well. If I go to input, same thing, right? Then plugins is pretty much more information about those specific plugins, right? Where you can just click read more and you'll see that. Okay. Then we also have a search tool from the top right. That magnifying glass allows us to search certain results. You will see the creating employees is there, because I've searched employees. Then the one just next to the magnifying glass, this one here, is for logging out. This sort of like back or front button. Then the one that looks like a clock is actually any updates that you have read will then be stored in that area. So to minimize, let me go to main page. So to minimize all of these updates, you'll just go into each one all the time. Then at the end of that pop-up, you'll just click, I've read this update, then it will now save it under that icon there.
Okay.
Right. Then alerts is pretty much a page where we will now get all of our alerts here. You'll see here, it states there, it gives us a date of when these alerts came out. Then now you can click there and it will give you emailer with us to what exactly has been updated.
If you go for an audit for 18,000, 45,000, this is what you use. And I ask you, how does your system get continually improved? You go to online drive, you show them that figure under the green, and that is your continual improvement, so they can see that the system is
Okay.
that is how you get through your audit for continual improvement system.
Right. Okay. Any questions so far?
I want to give you finished with the online drive? Can I just show them that matrix? I just want to show them the things.
No problem.
I just want to show you, I just did the training matrix. Just to show you.
Converter thing? Or you going to put it in HDMI? Or-
HDMI.
Cool. You just get it from you. There it is. You just pull out now. Are you also on Zoom? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, let me rather. Okay. Yeah. Let me just put it in my face.
This already on duplicate. Yeah, it should be that one. Okay. What happens here is you create a role for an employee. So if I go to here, manage matrix, This is it, turning. What I've done is, if you look here, I've gone and created a role. And I said, right, health and safety rep, health and safety, these are the courses that they must attend. Okay, I've identified arch modular-based training, any courses. Do they need a medical? Yes or no? I've just put no, that you can decide. Now I then go to the training manual. Not the training manual, the training register. Now the guy does his training. This is the training matrix for the year. So now he goes and does his training, and I enter it into the register, and then it brings it into here. John Jones did his safety net training course on that day. Those ones he still got to do. Is that the type of thing you're looking for? Would that meet your requirements? If we modify it and put extra columns in or whatever. But that is what I'm trying to say. So then you can go and CSV that column. So as we've identified under this training matrix what courses that safety rep must do. John Jones is a safety rep, so therefore those are the courses he must do. And therefore, because we've identified the courses according to the role. And then you go and as I load them into the register, the training register, and it's populated the system. So that's a training matrix.
So it's role based, not specific employee.
No, it's role based. It's role. So for safety nets, you must have so much. For 16 tubes, this is the training one. All right. So that's just to show you that it's not open yet, but we mark open it for our system now.
Okay.
Just so that I can show you. So if I go and add, if I go to training, if I go to my training register, for instance, let me just go down here. And I go back to Mr. John Jones, and I go and say, who is this guy? It's Jones. Put him in there, Jones. Next. What course do I want him to do? He's not a project, he's operation, he's in production, whatever. Go next. What course do I want him to attend? Let's go and say she rep. I'm going to put in, say that he's training on Sunday, or let's say that on the 31st. Okay, expiry date. I'm not a believer of expiry dates, but let's just go and tell it expiry dates. Depending on the course, of course. I haven't added a certificate or anything to it now. So now if I go to the training matrix, it didn't take yesterday's date. Let me just refresh here. What date did I put in? Did I put the right date in? Let me put Friday. Could I put Friday?
Put the 31st.
Take that up. 28th. It should work. That was the one course I did, which was HSC training course. See, I duplicated it. That's why I duplicated it. The other course should be, let me just go back here and see what the other course, I'll enter that one in. That's where leading incident. Let's see what happens if I add leading incident. Yeah, you see, it's, for some reason, it's not, it's added them in correctly, but you can see, yeah, it adds them in as you put them in. And I just got to find out why it's not adding it to the meetings. All right, it's gone in, added the first one, added the next one. But not, okay, but this is available and it's got to be finalized and finished. But this is basically what I think more or less what we were talking about this morning. We just got to see what.
Let's choose this. Cool. You cool with that one? Would it be fine if it's still linked to roles, or are there any other people that you would need to pull in?
What's it? Training. No, it will be per employee. It's not, but you've got to create a role for that employee. In other words, is it a safety web? And then you can select you, it puts a name. Ron Jones.
It's always got a system. Some school, role that you can typically put in the unless you have to create
You create a
a
role.
role, safe labor or system.
But look, I mean, it's going to be fine-tuned. But the thing is, you can load people into the system, and the bias, the roles, I'll talk to Mark as to that. Its idea is to make sure this guy's a laborer, that's a training he must have. It's a safety, that's a training he must have. That's why we bring roles in. So that if it's 62, that's what he must have. It's a CEO, he must have that. So that is basically how we establish our matrix that we were training. Then when you allocate it, this is the safety level.
I would suggest that for those type of guys, you just put in general worker, because I know that's a role that we already have in this.
We have a general work.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. But you can add roles, eh? You can add roles.
But they can't customize it.
You can, it's easy to add skills. But with the new version 2, a lot of the stuff will be customizable. You don't have to come to us and you have to add your own.
Cool. So we've created our employees, right? Previously.
Yeah.
Cool. So what I would like us to just quickly go through is now doing appointments. So if we go up top to organization workspace, we just open up appointments and docs. So we check it in still sharing. Great. So this is what we will see. Then at the top right, you'll see there, it will say now available docs. Right. Then please click on the right. So basically, when you click on available docs, this is where you'll now see all of your appointment templates. Right. Okay. Then if you want to get a whole view of all of the appointments that we have.
There's
you
not
just click
appointments in the search appointment. Or we just want appointment.
there. Yeah, we just want.
Then the search and the search appointment. We've got all of them. Let's do APP. How many are on the search appointment?
63.
That's how many appointments are in the system. Right? 63 this time.
Sure. Now to view all of them, you can just click here, it says 10. And you can view all of them at one glance.
Now, my question, Sean, as well, I've had this issue with quite a few companies.
Listen to what you do.
No. Regarding the appointment of the CEO.
Oh.
If you've got a board of directors, they can appoint a CEO for the company. But if you're a small company, you're the CEO of the company, shouldn't it be a declaration? So I declare that I am. the
So you
CEO.
don't need that. This is the problem, that nowhere in the law does it say CEO must be appointed. The CEO comes automatically from the register of companies, which is now what they call themselves now.
So she.
Separate.
Company information.
So they will tell you, now companies come along, we've got the CEO appointed in there. Because of the clients demanding it.
I see one.
It's not an appointment that I would recommend you do. It's not necessary. If you are by law required to put your list of directors at the bottom of your stationery, and you should put in there CEO is so and so. And that is sufficient to prove that the CEO of your company is in states.
Okay.
But you'll go to clients and they'll go, no, you must have Vodacom and what did you appoint to 61? For what? 61 is automatic. Go to the OSHA. That doesn't talk about the appointment, it talks about 61.
Yeah.
In my day, when I worked for the Department of Labor, all we used to do is to either get a letterhead from the company. If I'm leaving the company and I'm going to prosecute you, please give me a blank check. Then that is my thing. Or if I don't get that, I write to the in those days, the register of companies, and they give me a list of all the directors and who main cook and bottle washers. So we only put that in because of pressure from clients. I agree with you.
Okay.
But that's an appointment letter that we created there, not a declaration. But that appointment has to be made by the board. Now, what happens if you're a company like a closed corporation and you're a one-man band? In other words, you appoint yourself.
Exactly.
That's it. And I mean, I had a guy in Bloemfontein who's going to do work for Vodacom. He employed 3 guys in himself. And the 3 guys he employed, he couldn't really appoint them, so he had to appoint himself for 20 different appointments. And I found Vodacom, I said, but this is ridiculous, guys. What do you want to, can we not just make a creative appointment that's this all the work is getting? No.
What we normally do is we do a duty and responsibility acceptance as 61. We just go to the duties responsibility.
That's fine. You know what? Herman, there are many ways of skinning a cat. If people want to say, no, mine's the right way, yours is the wrong way. Let's go that. No, Jerome is a pain in the ass. We all know that. He's a pain in the ass. We all understand. Yeah, but I agree with you. But he is a problem. One of the problems that he had with Vodacom is with Jerome. I mean, you've been dealing with him in the past. Yeah, no, he can be a very difficult customer, but he knows what he wants. Unfortunately, he makes it a hell of a difficult. For instance, we have a master file that you can for Vodacom. But now he wants another master file, second level master file, where you must put all your employees in. So you've got 100 people working for you. They must all be on there, every single qualification. That's what he wants now. So now we've got to meet these requirements. So now you create a master file. In a master file, you don't put employees because employees are related directly to a project. So when you go to your project you created, you use a master file and say, right, I've got these 5 guys working. And the information is put. Now he wants a master file that pulls everybody in that works for your company, but it's not related to a project. I mean, why? What right does it do?
Why would you then want your corporate relations? Because
That's exactly what you run. Why
does he doesn't need
He doesn't need it. He wants to, you see what Vodacom are doing now, they're putting pressure on us. If I allocate a user or an employee to a project, that employee must not be allowed to be allocated to another project until that project's closed or he's been removed from that project and put on another.
Okay.
Now he wants to see how many people that company's got that are suitably qualified. I don't know. Because I am saying to you, when you've got a specific project certified, you can go and see the qualification and they see anything. But these are the type of things that we do.
You see where I think that I'm coming from, especially in that regard. So that was in a creative, You've got companies, especially in the event space, companies like your MGGs, okay? Which is a tier one contractor, they go. Now they've got multiple projects, but the project they work under is events. So that's why you would request from, say, MGG, there's all staff qualifications.
Doesn't make sense.
Course, I think they listed this one for.
No, they might be listed as an events contractor, but they create, if they get to do a job
But
that's,
it's not job specific.
if there are jobs for MGG, I know this, MGG can do a job for 4 hours, they submit the same. So it's not a general event safety plan. This is a safety plan of the company, a corporate safety plan, as you call it, and you must tell the guy, everybody that employs all their qualifications, all of this, to me, it's a burden. And I can't tell you that, but it's unnecessary stuff. But that's what he wants, what can I say? I'm not in a position to say it's wrong or right. It's what he wants, and if you want to work for him, that's what you have to do.
No, but he does want people to jump through hoops, but then
Why
again,
he creates hoops, but what you are doing with Section 360, you're not closing those hoops, but you're making it easier to do that.
Yeah.
Like with the permit to work now. We're waiting for Vodacom to do it, but there's politics. This one doesn't like us, and that one likes us, and this one doesn't like it. That one
that's the actual problem.
No, it is serious.
Because you know, now there's supposedly tier two contractors that have passed, they passed their Vodacom to do work for Vodacom. But then they come and do events for another time.
But that's,
When they bring in that Vodacom file, because it passed that Vodacom, that thing is, so they automatically I tell them, okay, guys, firstly, the thing is good. It's not specific to the job, to the project that you're going to do here. Point number one. Point number two, yes, it's nice you bringing me all your staff documents. Do you think I'm gonna sit and work through all your staff documents to see who the staff is that's on site? You can go and fly a kite. I want to know exactly who's on site.
Exactly, I agree with you.
And I want to.
That's what I can't understand why you want to put that corporate law. I agree with you, and in most cases, a lot of these Vodacom contracts, they've got 5 or 6 class max. So why do you want 100 of them? They're not working with the country.
but what's the reason for being through the social system as well? They do the corporate picking.
Well, but the gate one has been dropped on the people using this.
Sure, we need to eliminate that other muscle. We're trying to locate our system. Sharing virtual.
Well, they can't do it, there's no reason why they
They
can't.
can add all this stuff that you work for.
They must really go to create a
But you
master.
must also understand that. Let's take MGG as a prime example. They can't tell you exactly until a day before loading who exactly is going to be on site. So that's why the guys used to carry 2-3 files with them, that they had all the staff that are listed.
Yes.
Okay, so from that point of view, I can understand
That
why
was
they
a
used
new
to.
manual, but with the system like this, you don't need it.
Yeah, you did that.
Why would you add these guys? What is it, Vodacom said to us, the only people that can share on a site with another site is the provider and a splicer. Because then the splicer travels from site to site. But your guys that are digging the trenches and your laborers, they can't say, for instance, what happened is a guy comes to Vodacom and says, I can give you 50 teams. But they've got 1 team. Or they've got 5 buckets, but they're promising 50 teams. So they've got to be able to produce 50 buckets, 50 teams, you know what I'm saying? So whether that's got anything to do with it, I don't know, but I don't know why he wants to worry about that. He needs to worry about the specific one for that project. We can see that, but people there, they all want all the things that they make full family. But that's why we created the master file, because the master file now allows you to import anything in one shot, and you just add your employees and you import their stuff when it's done. If there are specific stuff, drawings and plans specific to that job, then you must load it. But that's basically, but this whole concept of having corporate safety file, I don't know what it's. So now it's resulting in us having to create another master file level.
The corporate safety file is engagement. So why is it engagement? You see, the problem is Vodacom doesn't see the engagement.
No, he's the only person that sees it.
Because the gate one, goes directly to Rosa, and they want to switch Rosa to see as.
Yeah, but except for our guys. With our guys on 2360, they don't have to go to nothing. Like they do between us. There's 100 of gate ones in 2019. So the gate ones will be loaded onto the system. You can make it accessible.
So I think that's why it's so, because he can't see that you're not, say, company at one, he can't see the corporate part.
Then you must
So they just go to gate one, and how the shared monitor works. Or here, the one 360.
That's right, so I would just use a shared monitor, so you can notice
Tell
the
me,
shared
like,
monitor.
how does the 18 monitor, same thing, go to your corporate part, he has access to all the time.
But Jerome is a difficult customer. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I can do nothing about Vodacom.
Well, that's where Lance and James needs to take in, so it's a lot more.
But they don't. Lance and James have got their own political agenda. But we so careful there. I don't go there anymore because I'm too scared of my mouth. Because they are so nice to your face, when you turn your back, they put all the knives that they can find. So the politics here, that is why we've got Jerome that has told Vodacom Central State Department to go suck eggs. He's being done. Because of that. We've got Danny that's now about to move away from it. Because they wanted nose and nose and nose and nose has crashed, and now they're going to move. They only pushed it because I'm sure there is underhanded things going on. That's the only reason. Only reason. Nothing else. Nose and miracles is going to have this money system. So what are they going to use from those? So what are they going to use? What do they want? They went and they said they went behind Barry's back and everything, not that they can't, they can do it better. And they went to the IT people and said, we want you to do, we don't want to do certain things about the bank balance. When the IT came to Barry and said, show us a system, let's see. Like this, when we left the time, forget it. And that was 6, 8, 9 months ago. The IT turned around and said, forget it. Now, where are they going to get it? I mean, I know Noza was charging them a good few million rand a year. I quoted them, I think, 1.3 million. The whole of it, that's 4,000. But you know what, I've got to the stage now, they must just decide. They will never get what they need now. You see the politics involved. That's why I say I stay away off the because both Lance and James are so friendly, because James comes from peace. I really boy and this and that. I don't believe a word from him. It's politics, guys. I don't want to run it like I need to do what he likes, it's his business. But all I'm saying is, from my perspective, we need to be realistic.
Cool.
What's this? Being recorded?
Are people watching?
Is people watching us?
Not watching yours, watching the screen.
How many people are logged
I'm not sure. I'm just saying.
Can you see how many people logged on?
Because they streaming on Facebook.
on? Participants one.
There's so many people, guys.
Yeah.
So many gets.
Okay. Yeah, again.
People on Facebook, it doesn't come onto Facebook. Anyway, carry on.
Cool. All right. Basically, Sean did show you guys the training matrix. So I just want to quickly show even the guys that are viewing the training matrix because they didn't actually get to see that. I'm just going to quickly go to registers, employees. Then we have our training. Then our training matrix over here.
I do this.
Right? And then the second one.
What's that now do?
Training
You
matrix.
add another track, but they don't see training matrix yet.
Yeah, I'm just saying for the people that are on live,
Ah,
that are watching the live.
Did that second one work correctly for you? Why did I know?
So just quickly check. Let's say
We only created one role, I think it's a safety role, right?
oh, it's only a second. Let's say to your place. There we go down to training matrix. Okay. So the training matrix is very strong, but it's only going to pull in according to their roles.
Yes, so you've got to add roles to it. And Mark is if you please just add one of those, which I added the second. Then you can go there, but you can add any roles.
To that particular training course. Cool. Super.
You don't have to enter an expiry date.
Okay. Oh, okay. I see when you are in Sean. You can actually add an HSE role from you.
Yes, yeah, you add your roles.
That's if you haven't added, and then you completed.
Okay. All right, lovely. Thank you.
See, this is what has not happened.
The next one is taken over.
Page list. It just looks like for now it's just the old version added. But basically, this is where you'll see all of the different types of roles, as well as the possible. Okay. You see, all right.
And then why?
We were just about-
My work.
Sorry. Are you not using your summer camp? Are you still seeing one training on the side? Yeah, we're using what gives you summer camp. Just open up your white label, then you go into the summer camp. Cool. Yes.
I actually used the system before, so the basic stuff.
No stress. We can always just also catch up just after we wrap up with some of these. Because we just left with one more module. All right, let's head to organization workspace. And you'll see now. We'll now head to appointment logs, as we were about to do appointments previously. Okay, cool. All right. And let's go to available. So to organization workspace, you will see the link that says appointment log. And just when it opens up, upright, available. Then you should now see all of our appointments. Right. And to view all of our appointments at one go, you can just click on this 100 there. And you can now see all of our appointments.
Remember the search function, the search function is very good. You search for something,
Let's say,
what is an agency?
So maybe I'm jumping the gun here. When I upload the employee details, we list these appointments. Won't that then automatically connect these appointments? Jumping the gun a little bit.
No, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. So you load an employee and it's going to be a shoe there.
Yeah, so we listed on his profile.
You create his role. That's what you do. The point is not created. It's not created.
but if you were to do it the other way around, it was actually going to put into the employee.
Then
So now here, if you assign somebody as a shearer, right, who's just an ordinary employee, it's going to now pull into the employee HSC role.
because you do the other way, you don't know exactly what the employee, you don't know the dates, you don't know the. Because on the appointment, you can also add training certificates and everything. So, so what he's saying now, so when you create your appointment for a leading incident investigator, it will create the role of an incident. But not the other way.
Thanks. I'm just going to select this guy, this one here. And you'll see this is now the existing template. And you'll see all of these here that are in caps and also in brackets is what we're going to be replacing when we now create our document. Right. And you'll see we also have two placeholders here where the actual appointee and the appointer will now be silent. Right. So when we go create document, it's going to ask us first, who's the appointer? Right? And I'll select my appointer there. Then whoever's appointing, you should now define the role there. Right. Okay. And who is this person now appointing? Is it an employee or is it other? Which might be somebody who's just a temporary worker or somebody external. But for now, I'll go with employee. And I'll just select then description of work. Because now I'm appointing a construction manager. So here, what type of construction are they doing? Is it building? Is it fiber installation, stuff like that? Okay. And yeah, I can either select the whole company, right, or the operation group. Or the area. Good. So if this person is only assigned to work under a specific operation only, then we'll do that.
Now, depending on who you're working and who you're going to be working with, a lot of your clients are going to have limited knowledge. I think. I might be completely wrong. But if you've got a client that's got substantial knowledge, unfortunately, we have no option. The client is always right, isn't it? So the client wants something, we can't convince him otherwise. We have no other option to meet these specific needs. And sometimes it can be frustrating. Maybe it's just as frustrating for the client trying to explain to you what he wants. But I think you've got to try and sell it to him to make sure that he understands what he's saying. Hopefully that makes a bit more sense.
And
I
you'll
think it's
see,
very important, especially when it comes to, that's why with safety plans, for instance, a safety plan that's acceptable by protocol is different to one that's acceptable possibly by APM, SASL, NGEN, whoever. They all got their own. I've tried to approach the Department of Labor to incorporate a standardized one.
I find that a lot with contractors in general, because there's so many variations,
It's frustrating.
they don't know
What's right and what's
what
wrong.
is right and It is wrong.
It's
So,
not really wrong, it could all be right, it's a matter of opinion. You know, a lot, I mean, the guy who does a safety file for you, he wants it this way. I do a safety file for him, he wants it. Neither of the safety files are wrong. They're not wrong. It's just that is how their client wants it.
Preference, yeah.
And the clients are adamant that their system, their file is the only right one. It doesn't mean anybody else's is wrong at all. It's just that that's what they want. That's why I believe they should standardize safety files. It will cause a hell of a lot less problems and it will be much cheaper for people who don't want to develop safety.
Cool, thanks. You'll see here in operations, you can also select multiple as well. Right. Then the start date. Then if you also need the employee number or ID number to show. So this create.
the same, yeah, on that.
On your
Yeah,
sorry?
yeah, the appointment.
What do you want to edit?
The appointee.
No, once you've generated it, you
What you did, I did.
can't edit it. But what you can do, since it's not signed off,
And then the
you
rule.
can just, yeah.
From Tuesday,
Just go back one. Actually, just go to your dashboard. I'll show you now. Then go to organization workspace, then appointments and docs. And it should show up there. You see in the last row the creative date, and now delete it. Then if you want to open it up, you just click here.
Okay.
And you'll see it at the bottom of the screen. You can now either request signatures, right, which will send a link to these to this person via email. Then when they click on the link, it will just open up the appointment. And
So when I open up, they can see the whole appointment,
Yeah.
and they know what they're signing, whether it's an appointment or a specific appointment. They know what they're signing and therefore.
Cool.
One of the biggest problems you're gonna have with signing, guys, is that people, especially the senior managers, they're going to complain that, oh, their signatures look terrible. They don't look nice. Those signatures are legitimate signatures, otherwise you will not be able to sign it at bank. If the people, companies big and they get to buy signing pads, my tip to you is make sure the signing pad shows the signature when you sign. Don't do a blank because they pack it together. So you must get a signing pad that actually allows you to sign in a block. But to me, a signature with your finger on your phone is more.
And you'll see when you click here on sign online, this is now you actually signing it immediately. Right. You'll just click again on sign, and it will open up this sign window.
If you open it, it opens on your cell phone. You must turn your cell phone sideways. And the landscape. So you turn your flat and you sign with your finger. It doesn't always work if you sign it in this position. It must be in this.
Because the window becomes very narrow in the upright position. So let's just quickly sign here. And I'll go save. Done. Then you'll now see there's my signature as this,
Now, some companies
as that pointer.
don't want the signature number. So then they go and they save the signature and it creates a line. But that means that the signed document must now be scanned and put in. And then you can't link that scanned document to any of the means you're trying to avoid. All right. Because the document that will be linked will be the document with the line in it. And now you're gonna have an audit, so now the guy comes to you, audit, he sees the money, he says, no, I'll sign all of it. Doesn't make sense.
Duplicated.
But guys, it's extremely difficult to keep everybody. Yeah, we haven't got many clients, we had one client who went and bought signing pads, but they just were not successful. Because they didn't have that block in it, it's AL.
And now you'll see, once you've signed, it'll then date stamp it there. Right. So you will see now that this person still hasn't signed.
Now, what you can do is sign these, and then I
Okay.
want you to, before you PDF, I want you to add the document.
Okay, cool. Now quickly skip that, Sean. I just want to quickly show them how it shows just before you open it. If I go back to organization workspace, appointment in docs. So this is maybe, let's say perhaps I've sent one of the signatures to somebody else. The Gert has signed. How I know this is because of that technique, right? And Brad Linden still hasn't signed because of there's no techniques to it. Right? Then when I go there, I can just open it up. Then it'll give us the same page that we're on. Then now we can sign it again. Good. So if you don't like your signature, you can actually reset it. But you can reset it. Right. So what Sean was talking about was actually this.
We had one client,
Touch and PDF.
AL, who would not, nobody would sign any appointment letters unless they could see the appointment. So that's why we added this in. So now you can add these qualifications. But what the problem we've got now, you've got that qualification you add from outside the system. The new version now, we're going to allow you to go to the family register and pull the qualification. And link it to that. Right. So instead of linking it from an outside perspective, you can link any PDF.
Okay. Cool.
You
see
see
now.
at the bottom, that's a document.
There's the attachment there.
Yeah.
So let's say if it's about this different from the 16, 15,
Well, this,
the important section,
Mm-hmm.
just at the auditors be all the
you can either go to the appointments where I can see it there, or you can also see it. Now, if you PDF that document and then open in PDF.
Cool.
You must have got a suntan. And I find that document. You can find it, so it is, go down to the bottom. See there, there's a certificate. So when you print it from a PDF, when you open the PDFs, the attached certificate you put to it will always be attached. Right. Or if it's to add training register, or if it's anything you want to attach to that, instructions, or general instruction, or a policy, or anything you want to attach to your appointment, anything. Numerous, they are not limited to that. So what's nice is when you print it, or you open it in PDF, open all the documents in one.
Okay. And you'll see, remember what we did earlier on with that whole document setup. You see now, this is the actual title, which is appointment letters. Then the document title, which is construction manager. Then the reference.
They put these numbers in the safe, you can put it in.
Yeah.
Your headers and footers come into play only when you notice even the PDF document. They come into play as you PDF the document.
And you'll also see that each page is also numbered automatically.
There's two pages, it's on the one.
Yeah, because that's a
Because
document
that's the,
that was created. The separate. What is the heading of that document? It is the one at the bottom.
that's on your
What's it called?
training register.
I see it's not the same document.
It's not, the number, surely this document can't be the first, document that gets a reference.
Yeah, you
On,
just
on,
say
the,
second.
on this system, it is.
So then the first document that
Yeah.
you send out to PDF then gets, MS1.
It could be in this one, or it could be some easy one.
Yeah, because this one showed we had clean the whole system, so this one is not in this.
Okay, yeah, because I also downloaded one now, also MS1.
Yeah.
You know, we must just double check on it. Remember, if it's an appointment letter, it will be appointment one. If it's a planning register, it will be PR1.
You see them? Cool. And again, what we didn't go through as well as what you pointed out earlier, right? File manager. You'll see on the left hand side here, we have file manager, but you can just click on that icon. And the reason why I didn't go there earlier on is because we hadn't created any documents. Right. So you'll see here, the document that we just created just now will be the construction manager. And it also has the exact time in which we do that.
Okay.
Right. Date, time, then the relevant person who it's for. Right. Then you'll see on your furthest right, you have these actions, right? You have 4 icons there. Firstly, the download, which is the cloud with the down arrow. Then the icon, which is the preview icon.
There are
Just
some
so
things
that-
coming, guys. That icon is a very important aspect because that preview is saying all the time. When you're downloading a document, it takes a minute. The preview is not quick. Like when you see a document, that's down to this one.
Right. So preview actually allows you to just view what document it is, like so. Okay. Then we also have archive, right, as well as delete. Right. And as we have established earlier on that you can only delete what you created. Right. Okay, then just here we have group, we have shared register. Okay. So we can now select under the group column, select whichever documents we'd like to group together. Then we take them there to group. And you'll see here it says select action. So now it's actually asking me what exactly am I wanted to do with these 2 documents, right? Do I want to archive these? Do I want to remove them permanently? Right? Or do I want to add them to shared document? Right? So basically, shared documents is where it gives you a capability of you later on linking those documents to your project, right? To your safety file.
We had a problem in before we close that down. We load a document onto your file manager. Then it asks if you want to share this. If you don't click it, then you can't add that on. You can come back. So now it's allowed to come back. You put it in the share file. Because your share file is where you click on a document and say what file you want to go to, 1.3, 2.5, or whatever. To your master file or to your other safety file. Okay, so your shared folder, which you will find under registers.
Cool. All right, so for now, I'll just leave it as is. Then this is now my existing names, my existing group names, right? So I'm not going to select this one, I'm going to create a new name. So I'll just come here, create a new group. Then I'll say, what can I call it?
Group one.
Cool. And I'll just go add. Then you'll now see when I come here, I have that new name. And I can just select it and say action. So this is now, so this is now in the instance of now, you having a lot of documents saved under here, so that at whatever point you can always just look up the ones that you have grouped. Okay. And you'll see again here, we still have that checkbox, meaning that if you need to now change the names or regroup them, otherwise again, you can always do that. Which previously we didn't have, because we used to have that once you grouped it, you couldn't ungroup it or change the names. And that was kind of like a hindrance. Right? And we can also, if you look here on the left, we have a button here that says upload. This is now for uploading any external document, which is not created from the system. Right.
So if you want a different form,
Yeah. Not necessarily stuff like your sheet plans and stuff like that.
For any external documents that are not
Yeah.
generated by the system,
Okay.
you would load in here. And that's where we click to see an add to register.
Yeah.
That is where we add automatically to your shared folder. Where you can link it to a safety file, any safety file that you use. We'll take you there now.
Yeah.
Upload any document.
So here I can also specify if it's under an operation or not. Okay, we'll just select operation A, then what type of document it is. We'll just go policies. Policy again. Then what type of policy is it? I'll just go HSE policy, then we go upload, it's fine. Then I can now start uploading other files again.
So do me a favor,
Mhm.
I'm unclear of the favor, just go to the shared folder.
Just to go back.
The shared folder is under register, right?
Yeah. Registers.
Shared document, shared. You want to load to HSE policy. Now you want to link that policy, you go and link it, you click link. And we haven't got
Select the
the
folders.
safety file, there's a master
Select the
file.
file, yeah.
Click the safety master file, you can now go and link which folder you want it to go to. Click the lists, policies, and cover the document. And then it could be subfolders as well. You link it and you can take it, link it, and take it out, just adds it to that subfolder.
Mhm.
Right.
And just quickly looking back at file manager, right? At the top, we also have two buttons there. We have archives. Okay, so anything that we've archived, any documents that we've archived, you'll always find under archive. Right. Because remember this blue button here under actions, this one here is archive. Right. And if you want to do a grouped archive, we already saw under grouped that we can actually group archive. Okay. So if you're looking for specific documents that you've already created, right, and you can't find them on this page, on the file manager, then please do make sure that you go to entire company. Because that's where you'll find most of your documents. Okay. You'll see now I have a whole scope of all of the documents that were created under this company. Right. Any other stuff, Sean, you want to touch on?
I
Yeah?
think we've got that basically.
Yeah. Yeah? Anything? You feel it? Okay. Cool. Right. Mark, your side? No, no, we just asking. All right, so Mark says he'll come in a couple of minutes. While we're still waiting on him, I think let's rather go through a couple of things with you as well.
If you cover the
Let's
stuff
do
with
it.
them,
Yeah.
quite quickly. It's a small group. Mark was attached, wanted to just demo the permitting work.
Okay. Is it good today or
Yeah,
Friday? Cool. So while we're still waiting on him, let's just quickly recap, or I'll take you through what we covered today. Right?
No, I was asking them to look like.
Yeah, I think maybe the other guys can have a small break while we take anything. Cool. Okay, so basically you log into your white label. After you've logged into your white label, okay, let me just rather take you through the whole thing. Let me,
What's the password for Casecare? B-Inspire, one word.
Yeah, B capital and I
okay,
capital.
cool. So this is what you will see, right? White label, then you'll go to your sub account, which is now you trying to log into your subbies accounts. So you might have several sub accounts here with the relevant contractors names in. Right.
And to be add the like the all the cards.
No, you give us a list. Yeah. Because you place an order there, you tell us how many you need. Yeah. Cool. And once they're there, you'll go to the relevant name that you want to log into. Just click plus user, then user credentials again to log in. Right, so now you'll be logged into that sub account. Right, then first things first, you'll see the layout. You'll have this black area at the top, which we refer to as the top bar. It has these icons here at the top, as well as your initial and your surname. Right, then just next to it, you have a QR code scanner for that specific page. So let's say you're trying to sign the document, right? And you obviously may be finding it difficult to sign with your computer. You can just take your phone, just click on that. It's going to give you a QR code for that page. Then you can just scan it and just sign up. Okay, then the icons next to it. This one here is basically a reminder or reminders. Okay, so these are basically reminders that are linked to documents that have expiry dates. Okay, so you'll see it will also state there that you're going to get alerts in these particular formats. Right? right? So these would be the typical documents that are due to expire soon. Yeah. So you can always check there to check the actual documents. Right? Then when we go back to the dashboard, just next to that icon, we also have another one that says reminders. These ones here would be now ad hoc reminders. Okay. So these here wouldn't necessarily be linked to any documentation, but they would be linked to specific issues that were raised up. So if maybe ad hoc has it on the system to say toilet handle broken, needs to be fixed whenever, right? Then on the status reports, when they add a reminder, then it will then show on the side. Right. Okay, and this one here is tasks. So this is where you view all of the tasks that are assigned to you as that user. Right. And this, yeah, that you need to complete at that user. Then this one here would be any of the tasks that you have completed or that you have assigned to other people to complete. Right. So these would be tasks that are completed either by yourself or somebody else that you assign. Right. The notifications would now be system prompts or follow-ups. As I made an example earlier on, that on the system, let's say now you report an incident, somebody is injured, right? Then after reporting an incident, you now need to allocate a task to the investigator. So this is now the system prompt. They'll give you there to say, okay, now you've done this, part A. What you need to do now is to allocate or assign investigator. Right. Then lastly, we have the graph icon, which is status report. So this is basically a storeroom where all of our non-conformances are stored. Right. They are stored there and they're also rectified there. Right. So this is where you'll go to now select the relevant person to do the remedial action, and this is where non-conformances get closed as well. Yeah. Any questions so far? Cool. Then on the top left here, this is where you see now your sub-companies name. In the dashboard, you'll see this now, In Touch. So In Touch, we're still working on this for now. But this is basically sort of like a quality tool in regards to how many queries have been reported by the subcontractor or your guys' clients, right? And how many you guys have now responded to. So if you guys took probably longer to respond to those queries or to rather fix them, then it will then show you that okay, the feedback time is not really that good. So how about we try to level up on that? Right. Then we also have Project Monitor, the Project Monitor table here, where you'll see now the created projects. Okay, the names there, the start date, whoever the supervisor is for that project, client liaison, if there is, right? Operation would now be departments, right? Which department is now heading this project, okay? Then client is now, when creating a project on the system, right? Client is very crucial because now whoever you select as your client is how you're going to get your safety file index. So creating a project on the system is pretty much saying you're creating a safety file. Okay. Then when you scroll further down, you also have a table for work permits, where you'll have your different contractor names there. Then the operation that's also overseeing those contractors. Then the permit type, working at heights or drilling or whatever it might be, right? then the date authorized for that permit, then completion date. Then further down, we have pending checklists. So this is basically all of the checklists that are still open. Checklists that you have started doing, but you haven't completed as yet. Yeah. So the incomplete ones are going to hang here. Right? And you can always open them up and just sign them more, or just complete wherever you have stuff. Okay. And just below, at the bottom of that table, we also have a create button there where you can just start a new checklist. And just on the opposite side, on the far left, we have all my checklists where you can view all of the ones that are still pending and the ones that you've completed, the ones that you've missed, and so forth. Then we also have Task Manager, which is pretty much, again, where you see the task that you need to complete. Then it's pretty much the same process or the same ideology applied here with the create button, creating new tasks for yourselves or for other people, right? Then here, review all of the tasks that have been completed, the ones that are missed, and the ones that are still to come, right? Then lastly, status report non-conformances for the month. Then these status reports are basically ordered via report type, right? Then you'll see here ad hoc hazard. For ad hoc hazard, under operation A or under this department, in the month of June, we only found one non-conformance. And you can actually open it up to see what had transpired. Then here, built inspections is now a different type of report. Again, identified by this department during the month of June. Then they found 4 non-conformances. And again, when you click on the chain icon, it's going to open up all the 4 non-conformances. And then you can action them to the relevant people for remedial action. Okay. Then at the bottom of that table, you also have status report grid, which is pretty much you getting the whole overview of your non-conformances, like when you do click here. So let me just quickly click this, just so you can see a brief overview of that screen. So this is now basically the document number, right? The report type. Okay, you will see identified risks there. Built. So basically built on the system. Each time you see this keyword built, that's basically meaning that it's a checklist that you have built or customized in the system. Right. Source would then be what type of checklist it is, ladder inspection, right? So you'll see on some of the documents where it's not actually a checklist, right? It will then pull in, if it's a risk, it will then pull in the same type of risk that you commented here on this side. Okay. You'll see here it says driving to and from site. Then this risk was done by operation B. And they were at this area, roughly. Okay. Then this is now the actual hazard. Okay, let me just go back one, sorry. Okay. Then who reported this? All right. And then the risk rating. Okay. Then you'll see as you create a risk under the risk assessment, right? They all have their own ratings, and those ratings also have their own actions in regards to how long you should take before actually fixing that. So A is one of the most crucial ones where it now requires you to take action immediately. Because that means that whatever risk this is will now cause death. Okay. Then we also have date column. Basically, when was this identified? Target, then dependency, action by manager, and date. Right. Okay. In regards to target, I see this is, I think, a new column that we just put in. I'll just double check with Mark with
No,
that.
if you click on that and you open it,
Okay.
it will say, now open,
Mhm.
you see nobody's, you know, click there,
We're about.
you know, that one there.
Okay.
And create an action package. You see there's no action package.
Okay. So that would be the action
So
date.
if you create the action package,
Okay, cool, perfect. Just go back there. So this is basically the due date on the deadline.
it's a data that you know.
Yeah. Cool.
And the next one is.
The dependency. Yeah. The dependency would be whoever is going to assist in the remedial action of that. Then action by is the initial person who's responsible for that remedial action. Right.
Yeah, the manager hasn't come in yet.
Yeah.
The last one is type 2.
The manager.
That's the actual data.
Okay, cool. So the manager here would be. Yeah. Man. Sorry. We're gonna move this. Okay, cool. So you'll see our manager would be the person who would actually close it off once it's now been remedied or fixed. Right. Then as they close it off, it will then keep it safe.
Substantial changes will be coming to this, guys. Not the concept will be the same, but we're not going to get separate status reports. It's all going to be put into one.
Cool.
But when you close an action, when the action is closed, remember it goes to closed action. So open closed action there on the side. So whenever you close an action,
Close actions.
when you close action, it goes from red to green and it's saved into this format. So when the auditor comes to your premises, you can come at any stage and you can say, where are all the actions we've done over the last year? And it will all be closed. And you see these actions, they're not live, you can't open them. It's just a spreadsheet of all the actions you've closed since the company started. Something that you didn't show the guys on the file manager is the whole company and part of it.
Yeah, actually good.
Did you? Okay. Because a lot of people get confused with that, that, oh, these are files, they lost, you could do it in the right place. I mean, when you're starting to load 16, 17,000 documents in there, you're not going to place to open. So we work on a 7 or 8.
Okay. Cool. So these are all of the closed ones. And when you click on the last completed date, you'll see it will show just that entry as well as it being highlighted in green.
You see now, when it's green, it means it's been completed and it's no longer. Your actions in the system are managed really well, guys. I don't know if there's much that you want to change it. But I think the actions here, the non-conformances are dealt with substantially. And the quality, Mark will show you on Friday, and the quality goes even further. Quality goes down 4 levels. So this guy reports it, that one must manage, that one must manage, that one, it's an algorithm, you know. I've watched it 3 or 4 times and I still don't know. Alright. Did Mark say he was going to come over?
Yeah, it did. But you were still on the call with something.
I
Right.
don't want you to go ahead and stuff that you need to do tomorrow.
No.
I just spoke to
No, I'm just doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Then you will see, once you buy organization workspace, right, just bear in mind that only control users and control prime can see the organization workspace. Right. And reason being, control prime and control user are the ones that configure the system.
And you'll see there too, only the control user can therefore create the orders.
Mhm.
You can't create any, only the control user can build. Now, one of the reasons why we limit this, you can't have checklists going into an organization. This, you're using that checklist, he's using that one for the data. It must be standardized. You'll see when you come to safe working procedure, a person or persons in the company must go and approve a safe working procedure. Why is that? If you have a company that develops, for instance, 2 or 3 safe working procedures to do the same job. Okay, so I'll give you a typical example. Years ago, Vodacom, in the 80s, 90s, the northern region was split from the southern region with the towers. I know this because I was in the department there when I came to. Now, the northern regions have a fall arrest system for them to climb the towers. The southern region, Western Cape, PEN, don't have that. They have a double tile system. So you have a double lanyard. Now, if somebody falls with a double lanyard, or vice versa, somebody falls because the system fails and it wouldn't have failed if they used the other system. How do you, in a court of law, explain that one company applied 2 different standards? How do you, in a court of law, explain, I've got 3 safe working procedures, but if you use number 1, he wouldn't have injured himself. He got injured because he used number 3.
But all the data so which one is?
Exactly. So you don't want to go and allow for 2 or 3 different things in an organization. You must make that decision and live by that decision based on a reasonable person. Right, so that's why you approve. So when you go, if you've got a company that's got department A, B, and C, you don't want different safe working procedures for using underground in A to what you're using in C. Because it will bite you in the backside from the legal. You are back in the court of law to prove reasonableness. All right, so that is very important for us to understand. So there's certain things in the system that must allow for approval, and that is why we put that approval. Okay. It's like building a checklist. You don't want 10 different checklists for the same task. You must have one standard checklist in the organization. And that's why the building of checklists and that is allocated to the prime or the control user. Okay. It's very important that we understand that. And that's why it's done like that. It's not to try and give anybody a hard time. The minute, I can tell you now, I've done many court cases, the minute you get to a company and there's a debate as to what is right. So that is very important to understand that. That is why it's like your drop downs too. We drop downs, we're going to do modifications on the drop down to allow you to amend the tank with people amending this stuff. Especially for inventory items and things like that. So we need to be able to do that. Purpose why we use a drop down, because if you allow anybody to put a drop down in and it is not spelled correctly, the search function will never be effective. So when you as a control user put your drop downs in, you must make sure that you spell properly, that you've got the right terminology. You make a mistake, it's very difficult to fix, it must come back to us. At this stage, we are going to allow for you to amend drop downs. But the important thing is when you create drop down, think of the people that are going to search for that drop down. Start coding.
Cool, thanks. Right. So now we're going to head down to settings under organization workspace. And we'll see now we have these buttons here, starting with document setup, which is now us setting up the headers and footers. Drop downs, which is what Sean just explained just now.
Overall. Now there's something very important here. Where is it for the vehicle that starts to come through? Make sure that if you're going to keep vehicle registers, that same medical info is ticked. Otherwise, it will not bring the register in. What system is this?
Yeah.
You gotta keep that and then brings the medical register coming in. And those of you working in construction, you have to have that.
And then down below here, it basically shows all of the other features that have been enabled on the system. Okay. Okay, so let's start off first by document setup. And you'll see you'll have a different look there. Let me just quickly open it up so you see the same thing. And let me just do this. Okay, so this is what you see now in the side. Almost, sorry. All right, cool. So now we're going to define how we want our layout to be, right? Headers, how many rows are we trying to get through? I'll just keep mine on 1. Then footer rows as well, how many you'd like as well? Always 1, 2, 3. Then columns, 1, 2, 3 as well, however many you want in your headers, right? Then same goes again, how many you want in your footer. Okay. Right, then after defining all of this, we'll just click where it says update header and footer. Okay. Then now you can now add your logo or their logo, sorry, right. Okay, my subcontractor is Safety 360. So I'll just add their logo in the upload logo. Right? Once you've done that, you just click the result again. Cool. Then all depending on how many columns you've added in your header, you can now position where you want your logo to be. Right. Left, center, right. Okay, then after clicking whichever dot you like there, left, center, right, then just click update position. Okay. And when you scroll further down, you'll see all of these templates here. These are basically templates that you can actually create in the system. But now what we're doing is that we're setting up the headers and footers for all of them. We're just gonna create one. After creating one, then copy it to the rest. I'm just gonna open the first record, which is an accidental explosive initiation register. And you'll see first things first, document referencing. Right. So here, I can now name however I want my documents in our reference. To say, okay, she document slash whatever dash, okay, slash, okay, seems like so many slashes. Okay. Then this one you have document title. It will automatically pull in the same name of that register or that document. Then down here you'll see now I have my logo where I've positioned it. Okay, under my header. Then I have these 3 weird looking like placeholders. Okay. Then on the other side, I've typed in my address there. You just click there and just start typing away. Right. So now to put in these placeholders, okay, to put in these placeholders here, you just come up here where it says select reference positioning for header only. Right. We'll copy from the $ till the end of the square bracket. So this is now to put in your reference. Because remember, this is now what you're trying to put in. Sheet doc, then it's going to generate a number after. Right. So all of the documents are going to be sheet doc /01, sheet doc /2, sheet doc /total. Right. Then you now specify where you want that sheet doc to go. Right. Then actual title. Okay, we have document title, which is this one here, doc ref tag, which would now be the actual document name. Right. So like this one, like this current page that we're on now, it's an accidental explosive initiation register, right? The document type title would be that exact name. Then the actual title would be register. Right. So what this is actually showing you is that it's just alerting you that if you copy this, this is what you're trying to put in. If you copy this is what you're trying to put in. Right. Okay, then when you go further down to your footer, you can state who it's been created by, right? As well as the last review date. And if also you have stuff like your revision date, you can also just pop it in the revision date. All right. Then once you're done configuring that, you just go to Save Template, the top right and the bottom right. In the instance of us wanting to clear everything on our page, you can just go there, clear and restart. You can redo the whole process. Right. Okay, then just just please open it, reopen it up again, that same page. After you've reopened it, just scroll to the bottom of the page. Just under clear and restart, you'll see there's a copy and replace all. And it also stipulates there in red that this will now replace to all document templates. Yeah. Okay. So what that just did is that it just simply carried out the same layout here as in footer in the image of now. Right. And for us to maybe just get a look of how it looks like, let's just go to my workspace. Let's head down to training. Then go to here's my Toolbox Tools. Sorry. So you'll see these ones here are just templates of Toolbox Tools that we have. So you can create a new one, but for now we'll just go here and just open up any Toolbox tool. So we're just trying to see the layout of our video. Right. And you'll see now when you go download and print, will then show you exactly how the toolbox talk looks like after it prints there. After downloads. So there you go. This one. Oh, yeah. Cool. You see it on your side. Okay. So now let's head again to organization workspace, settings. Then now we'll head down to drop downs. Organization workspace, settings, drop downs. Cool. Okay. So basically drop downs is to add more options to either your inventories, your internal tasks, or your training records, or training courses rather. So in the instance of you adding training registers, right, and you're looking for a particular course that is not stated on the system, on the drop downs, you can just come here and add them. Then later on when you go there, you will not add as a new drop down. You can select. Cool. We'll continue just in a few. I just want Mark to cover some stuff.
Cool. So we're doing permit work.
Yeah, we'll do the permit work now. I'll be into
Sorry for being a bit late, everybody.
No, it's fine.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to go into our demo. What we'll go over on Friday includes how all of the URLs work. There's many URLs that would come up at the top here, like login.safety360. You can have your own branding there, but as you'll see in the agenda, it's going to be on Friday. We'll discuss that. I did see one email that went out to brat@mweb.coza. Is that one of the users here? Did you? Okay, so that's, well, I'll chat to you about that URL as well. Okay, so it will look quite similar to this. On the right-hand side, we've got the project monitor. I haven't been listening the whole time today, so I'm not too sure where you went with the guys. But project monitor has a little bit of a widget on the right-hand side. And then within that, we can go and say, let's Alberton Studio, for example. This would be a specific project in a specific client format, in an operation with a liaison officer. Have a quick overview of the project. Now, this would include a place where all the compliance would happen for the project. So our clients are using it to submit files for approval through Project Monitor. But when Project Monitors get approved, let's see here, there you go. So compliance messaging includes when I submitted my file, when it was rejected, if it was rejected and why it was rejected, if it was resubmitted and then approved. So as soon as I've got that approval process, you'll see, okay, I can't do it here. I need to go to a different Project Monitor. But the next step would be now to request a permit to work. So you'll see like this one's got permit to work requested. I can initiate a permit to work. Yeah, I just need to go back to the live status. So on the menu item, you can either click over there or use the breadcrumbs, which is on the top here, just to navigate around. So here's a quick or very big overview of our projects. Let's have a look here at 02. So a similar view, where's it going? What is the format of it? dashboard to see what's happening, where it's happening on sites. Okay, and then here's our actual compliance messaging. So I haven't even sent this one off for review yet. This is going to be a bit of a problem. Okay, the reason why we need this is just to get your location to assist us with what the map should look like. Okay, so that's actually going to go to our own little account. I'm going to log in on the client's login quick. What I'm taking note of is how many browsers I've got open here, because now I need to open up a different browser. So my URL is now online.fsaf.coza. Okay. There's like 8 URLs to get into the system. Okay. But don't let that confuse you. It's just the same thing. Okay. Log in with my demo developer.
Okay, should be.
So the good thing about the compliance messaging is you're including all the timestamps. So who did the actual send, when did it happen, and who is it supposed to go to? This would include a CC to me as well in terms of the project itself. My client would have got an email with a notification. So this is an example now of the notification. I can't show you too much of the detail, but that's my project I had submitted. So Alberton 2. I just hope this is the right project. So this is the same link that would be sent by email. So in the email it would ask, can you please approve the file? Here's my submission. I can then reply and say it's approved or not. Okay, this is now, I'm just trying to get to my permit to work. This is why I'm showing this, okay? Okay, I need to add a comment, great. Great job. Okay, so it's back to this side again. I'm just gonna refresh the page. Oh gosh. Okay, man, it's only got one project that I can do this from. Okay, that's how you submit a project for review, everybody. I think it's Joburg 1. That's how you get. Yeah, just phone Mark. Okay. There you go, great. So this is the one project in the whole system that can get work permits. We've been doing a lot of testing. Okay, so this is the one I should have actually selected. To start a work permit, we then choose what kind of work permit we need to get approved. These are great because it allows us to specify a template. So if you're needing other work permits other than electrical to rigging, for example, Nokia does a lot of height work, but they classify their height work in different types of job priorities. So it needs different training, it needs different full-rated gear. If there's that kind of aspect to it, that's quite important to know because your template would be the next thing that happens after this. So it's not just good enough to have a height work permit, it would be a height work at a certain type of rigging. Okay. So if you've got your own templates to use, we can just send you the format. And the next questions that come after this, if I go and select electrical work, would now start my permit. So it opens up my permit to work template. All these are controllable. So you don't have to use ours. This is the generic way. The first question will ask, where is the work going to happen? So we go and write this in an area. Is there going to be a subcontractor? So in the system, if this system that I've logged into has subcontractors, I can issue work permits for them. But it'll obviously go through my safety file. Because at the end of the day, I'm responsible for my subcontractor. It hasn't really changed. They don't have to be part of the system, but it will obviously make it a lot more sense having them as a 360 system. Okay. Where applicable, select. So will you be working after hours? This one specifically has a question about Vodacom, but this one, the Vodacom absolute rules have been explained. We've got the signatures for the absolute rules being explained. Has a safety plan been approved? Of course, if you've gotten this far, you should really have a safety plan, but it's another quick check, because if you've said yes, then you've got the proof. Just another check and balance. Eh? Next would take me through to my high risk work. So this again can be adjusted. So we've got contractors over 13 million, all the way through to is there risk of drowning? So if there's an event that has a shark cage, is there going to be some drowning, for example? Okay. This will also help me define more permits to work. So if a question comes up to say, is there hot work, and we didn't identify that I needed a hot work permit, at this step, I would have now needed to start another hot work permit. So right now we've got one permit. One permit means there's one permit to do. Optional to have top 5 hazards. There's my permits now. So I've got 2. The one is the electrical work, and the second one was from the question we just asked, right? So electrical work, complete the permit. What equipment am I going to be using? So I'll just write equipment. What is the reason for isolation? This is the reason. Wow. What proves, oh, sorry, what test will I be using? Now the fun part happens. So these 2 people, James Dalton and Mark Van Rooyen, are the only 2 people in my system that will have electrical compliance certificates. So it goes back to the system and checks for the specific type of work. Let's say electrical, so does he have the electrical compliance certificate? Now when you set up this permitting system, you choose what certificates to look for. We don't just look for a training certificate, it would be a specific one. So this would be your guys who are going to be working with the isolation equipment. The next person is the competent supervisor. So again, these are the 2 people that the system found for you that are going to be able to use competency to verify the work. What is the work going to be done? So work. When is it going to happen? It's going to include today. Okay. And then the hot work. The same thing happens again here. What is my source of ignition? It's a multiple choice option. So you can see the benefit here. You're creating a template for the work that needs to be done. And the same permit, once it's been signed off, will take us through PP identification, etc. Would you like me to go through the whole process with you guys? Okay. Cool. So we choose our potential source of ignition, gas. Precautionary measures, area to be cleared of all combustions to the range of 10 meters. Are all combustibles that cannot be removed, covered, or shielded. Is the fume ventilation. So you can get the drift here. We're saying yes to a lot of important things, right? Is the means of egress identified and available? The egress. Are the persons carried out? What? Are the persons carrying out hot work competent? And hopefully this will be. So now we find the competent people. So Mark Van Rooyen comes up again, and although it's the same guy, we're obviously using a demo here. So there's a lot of data about a couple of the people. So Mark Van Rooyen is doing that work, putting work info here. When is it going to happen? Let's use tomorrow for this. It's a big job. Next, PPE identification. So here again, in this demo, or in this template, we're looking for what PPE is being used. So it's asking me, have you got safety shoes? Is a hard hat applicable? Is a safety harness applicable? So we're just marking off what is applicable or not. And then this is the last part. So our site supervisor, I'm just going to zoom out. The confirmation is who's the site supervisor, who's the permit HSC liaison, and then who's the permit approver. So in the system, we've gone and identified people who are going to be responsible for these responsibilities. This guy's in my company. This person's in the client's company because it's a client permit approver. And the last one is a permit approver, which would be in my company. So this guy, developer H7360, is actually on this login here. He's the person that just approved the file. So the system is set up because we've got a tenant, let's call them a tenant. We've got a client that sits out there that has a login, and that client can accept safety files, approve them, reject them, and approve these permits to work. That is in your client's system. Now, if you come back again, this is now our main system, requesting the client's authority, right? So that's the link between us and the client. In this instance here, we have the middle person being that person. So this client permit HSC liaison is the person that's part of the client responsibility. Okay. So that's where the email is going to go now, like we've got the approval. So we go and save that. That will now take us to the full view of the page. So it fills in all the information that you would normally put in your permits request. And what we've done is we've identified that it's obviously a general permit. other than the permits to work. So for this instance, we've got equipment, we've got electrical and we've got hot work. So those are two extras that are on and on top of what we're wanting to achieve at this area with these subcontractors at that hours, etc. So this is general to the electrical and to the hot work permits. So all the information comes in, and then I would then sign it online and send it to the person. So let's just do that. You can see we're finishing the development still. That was just with one hand, by the way. And signing with a trackpad is quite a difficult thing. So I'm going to save for now. This would then issue all the notifications. Okay, this is not the project that I'm looking at. So this is the project that I've requested the permit to work. Let's go back to my dashboard. There you go. So I'm just taking this to the dashboard as well, but this was the work permit for electrical work and hot work requested on this date. Can then open the link up. Takes me to a bit more information, and then I go into the final process, which would be me approving the work or not. Here's all of the tests that we've done, and there are a lot of them pending approval. This gets sent to the correct specialist. So you know, just now we had a developer secretary. That's the specialist within this client that needs to do the accepting. And that's where this happens. Yeah. Yeah, it's impact. There's a lot of CCing. What we find is very important is to CC everyone that's involved, instead of just saying send it to a person and expect them to receive it. So there's a notification, the little icon that I'll talk to you about at the top left, right-hand corner, at Thunderbolt. That's where all the notifications of this change would be anyway. And then I would do the final approval. So we've done a lot on project one. We would have our last two down here somewhere. It's a hell of a lot. So we can do approval on one. Now I'll be able to review the permits. This would then be the PDF. So I can go and review it and then give it my authority. So this would add another signature to the document. And this would be
How many levels of signatures do we need?
Yeah. So in this case, we know we only had those 3 people. We didn't have a security officer because in that template we didn't say we needed one. But we can go as many as you need. There's no limit at all.
And you can decide at the beginning which people you want to sign.
Yeah, so it comes back to this page here, and we go back one. So you know the columns that we saw in that table, we saw HSE specialist. We might have seen security. Okay, we don't. So HSE specialist and approver, it's just the 2 people that we saw. Right? Those are our 2 members. So if we need to put more people between HSE and approver, it could be facilities management, it could be, I don't know.
Yeah, if you're going to have, I think that I'm talking about permit issue. Somebody is going to be approver and issue.
That would be your specialist, your
So you
approver.
can change it to, it doesn't have to, it can be any.
Yeah.
It doesn't get allocated to the car.
No, he would be seen as, first of all, as the specialist. So this is, I'm the specialist for health and safety.
Okay, terminology would be the same. You can,
But here is your approver, which is this column here. That would be the person that would give
we
the
need to
authority.
receive it, and see, your agency specialist there is your person that just checks and safety stuff. And you approve it, then it should be an accept. But that's something you can allocate. It's not-
Yeah. We've developed this to be very generic, so you can quickly load in another type of permit and what needs to be signed quite quick. And who,
Because most companies, I also know about your class here, they have approvers, they have issues and acceptance.
Yeah, you have the issuer, the approver, and the acceptor. The acceptor is the contractor, the issuer is usually hired from the client, and then the approver is the dealer also plays a part in there. But here Nigel was actually having it on site. Okay. So, but with BP, you've got the permit issuer and then you've got the receiver, so.
Those are two critical ones. And then sometimes you have a thing called iron phone.
Yes, yes.
It's confined spaces, they have to have iron phone.
But that's your level three, with BP is called the level three approval, which is, one of the engineers that needs to approve.
Do you think this is like this with the two modifications?
Yeah,
I would love to show you the database behind it, because it's just some and you just do it. So if we change a quick question now for this approval process before we got to this end here, there would be an automatic change. So you can go and say, for my permits, oh my gosh, I need to change my questions. I need to review my document control. That would be a quick, it's as quick as just asking a new question down here.
Now, just send me an email.
Oh, cool. If you don't mind just taking care of it before you go on your trip. That's the aspect that we're showing, right? Is that everyone's getting mails, everyone's getting SMSs. So the same email, I also got it here, yeah. So there was two. One was a submission. You can check it out if you want to.
Then you have the extra permit to work in the chemicals.
Yeah, electrical and hot water. So there's two there. One that it got submitted, that's the submission. Yeah. Then the approved one, because it got approved. So you got told, okay, your project's approved. Not just can I go and click on refresh. You know, when I refresh to show you the project was now submitted and given the priority, then this same thing can be sent by SMS. So we can just going back to the dashboard. But yeah, all those questions can change really, really quick. Do you have any questions regarding the permit to work? What I'll see here as well. Yeah. And then there's the dashboard for contractor management as well, which would now split up my permits requested, approved, and would show me all of my subcontractors. So here's my contractor compliance at the moment. My approved permits. So now I don't have any subcontractors, so it doesn't really make sense, but I don't want to show you client information. So these are the approved projects, approved permits. If I've got a specific metric, like making sure people have signed the absolute rules, I'll see that. If I've got my own induction to sign, that would be there too. And last but not least, all the data that's above would also display in a graph, in a table like this, so you can also use the table and not use our graphs. Yeah, that's basically summarizes what a contractor can do from a high level, right? Being the principal contractor or the client, or the person requesting this approval process. The only aspect with the approval and permit to work is that both companies need the system. So they both need to have 360 in order to approve things. Yeah, but we'll get into Project Monitor as we go down there. It's not right now. Good. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
That's one.
All the same now.
Is that basically
Oh, you're not? Okay, that's why. So right now, I'm majority of this one. You can take it and get a Android. I know it's always the cool companies in our. We've got checklists available in our app so far, so we're currently developing both apps. So that won't happen. I wouldn't use it. It's great, but it's not good.
Lots of people are there. So they.
Okay.
But you say it.
Okay. So unless you don't have any apps to use it. You guys are sitting on a good app. Yeah. That's it. Well, it's good.
No.
Everyone.
Yeah, it's in the news. But,
No, I think it's fine. We normally will make a whole statement. Sometimes I need to work. So you're not gonna be here saying you need to make sure.
In terms of showing off the app, there's an app you can download on your computer called Blue Slacks. They have all of the emulators to show a client, and they're just yours. Otherwise, investing in something like a tablet might not be a bad idea. I do understand.
See, I'm a responsible.
I went from iPhone to the Huawei, so I was there. Nice. So I have used that.
If you just check your emails, there's also a link for our register. Yeah, daily register.
It's funny, you'll be able This is fine, but can we, at the end of the week, send out all people.
Right. Session 2, that one.
I must go. It's, You work for the municipality. You work for the municipality.
Can you see, like, everyone's, where I'm,
Science level 360, usual regression.
And also,